Yo, Spatchcock Funk here. We're making Chupacabra pork chops. Pork, the other white meat, is one of the best things to cook with if you know how to do it. Sometimes there's nothing better than a really good pork chop. Now, as a kid, you had shake and bake and so forth, but the Chupacabra pork chop, we named this after this mythical beast that lives on the border of Mexico, South Texas. So it's spicy, a little bit naughty, likes it nighttime, likes the action, likes it hot. So this is a little bit of a spicy dish, but it adds a lot of flavor to your table. Now, what we're using from our friends Lee and Steigerwald's is these big, fat, beautiful pork chops. Now, this is almost a porterhouse cut. It's got the tenderloin, AKA the filet, the rib chop on here, but we're gonna do it with the bone in because the bone, as we cook it, will allow the meat to stay moist and juicy because a pork chop is only good if it's juicy and flavorful. So let's get to it. Let's make it thick and let's start with making a marinade. What we're gonna start with is 2 de-seeded poblano peppers that are minced up. The poblano pepper is a mild pepper, but anytime you cook with peppers, make sure you wash your hands when you're done with it because you don't want to touch any sensitive areas. It's happened to your boy, not a pleasant experience, so make sure you wash your paws. So we've got our peppers in here. We've got 2 tablespoons of freshly minced garlic. We also have about a tablespoon of chopped up fresh thyme, just in time, y'all, feel me? We're also gonna put in a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then finally, we're gonna put in a couple teaspoons of chopped parsley, a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, and then we're gonna stir it up. This marinade is actually gonna form a paste. Okay, once we've mixed it up a little bit, we're gonna put in, depending on what you want from a heat standpoint, the Chupacabra Respect Cholula hot sauce. So we're gonna put in about a teaspoon of that in there, more for the flavor because this hot sauce, man, it's got the flavor, but it's not super hot. It just gets you where you gotta go. And the heat is gonna bring out some of the saltiness that we're putting in with the rest of it. The thyme all comes together to really make this dish something you wanna put down. Now, if you're afraid it's gonna be too hot, you could use just a green bell pepper, but that wouldn't be a Chupacabra, it'd be like the Chupacabra's little sister. We'll call her Sarah Cabra. So you're gonna wanna take this paste and put it on each parts of the top of your juicy pork chops, right? And now the pork chops, because we're doing a cast iron skillet, we're gonna do them right, you want them to be at least 1.5 inches thick. 1.5 to 2 inches thick. Now, even though it's a paste on the top of this, to make sure we're doing it right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a food storage bag, and still while the top of that marinade is face up, we're gonna put that into the food storage bag, because we don't want it to spill. But here's the thing, this is about to be the bottom of the bag. So what we're gonna do now is take it like this and just flip it once. And now that marinade stays as a paste on the top of that. So we're gonna open up the other part of the bag like this and use the rest of our marinade to get both sides. So make sure we cover both sides like Deion Sanders used to back in the day. Now we've got the marinade on here. You wanna marinate this for at least 8 hours, but you can go overnight. There's not a lot of citrus in here, right? So it's not gonna really start affecting the meat. So we like to go overnight with it, but minimum 8 hours. Let that paste sit there in the fridge, good to go. Now we've got our marinated chops. Time to make them a little crazy, get up in it. The first thing we're gonna do though is take your pork chops out of the marinade and you're gonna wanna scrape off all of the marinade that's on there, that paste. We don't need that for this next step. It's gonna be all infused in the meat already. Now, cast iron skillet, baby. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get that thing hot. We're gonna put in 2 tablespoons of a really good olive oil. We're using our from Aveco right here. And we're gonna put in a couple tablespoons of butter and get that melted. Now, once we've got the pan hot, our butter and olive oil sizzling, we're gonna put the pork chops in there. We're gonna do a quick minute on each side and then also the fat part of it too and kind of render some fat into the pan. Okay, now we're gonna bring them back to the pan and you're gonna flip them every minute for 4 to 5 minutes to get it medium rare, which is how we want it. Yeah, after that, we're gonna let them rest for about 5 minutes. So put them on here. Now here's the thing, you want pork, we cook it medium rare, which is about 135 degrees. Now people will talk about trichinosis. There's not been trichinosis in the United States in a long, long time. Medium rare, juicy is the way to get your perfect pork chop. So while we're resting, we're gonna make a little poblano-thyme butter to put on top of this. So in our pan, we're gonna turn off the heat and we're gonna put in another couple tablespoons of butter. And get that nice and melted and browned up a little bit. Then we're gonna put in about 5 thyme sprigs and get that flavor infused into the butter. Snap, crackle, popping. Then we're gonna put in some poblano pepper strips. We cut up 2 of them. We're gonna use maybe 1 of them in here and get those a little soft. Get all that together. Now what we're gonna do is take some of these beautiful peppers over the top of this beautiful pork chops. And we're gonna drizzle some of the butter on top. That thyme infused brown butter. Let's cut into this. Yeah, medium rare. Fat is beautiful, great cross cut, tender, perfect, just like y'all, Spatchcock Funk.